I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, hello, hello. The gang is back together. Welcome to the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Kimmy versus the Reverend movie after show. I'm your host, Sahai Wilson, and I have our old friends with us today. First of all, we have Carolyn. Carolyn, say hi.
Hi guys, how is everyone? I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy.
Yes, we're trying to in these quarantine times, girl, but it's hard. But fortunately, we had Kimmy to bring us some joy.
Seriously.
Then we have the lovely Candace Cruz. Hi, Candace.
Hi, guys. This is so exciting. The gang's all here. It's been a minute.
I know. And I'm loving this ensemble you're wearing.
Listen, I needed some Kimmy. So I was like, positive effect. She's got the big sleeves. I feel like this is something that she would totally wear with the bright colored pants. I didn't have the bright colored pants, but
that's all right. That's all right. We'll talk about Kimmy's wardrobe choice, by the way. And last but not least, we have Laura, our hot mama. How are you, Laura?
Hi guys, so happy to see y'all. I'm going to throw in the y'all since I'm in Nashville now.
Yeah,
love that.
Southern vibes. I feel like Candace, with that shirt, you're giving me fun dress Kimmy versus fancy dress Kimmy for sure.
I mean, I think you already know my choice in that one.
Love it.
Yes. So ladies, first of all, I'll start with you, Laura. What were your overall thoughts?
Overall, I thought it was really fun. We put these characters down for a while. And so to pick them back up and to see where they are now. And I love the interactive like choose your own adventure. I feel like, and we talked about this a little bit, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I feel like when Black Mirror tried to do it, it didn't really land. And for some reason, maybe it's because of the lighthearted nature of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. For some reason, this one landed with me way better than Black Mirror did. So overall, I give it 2 thumbs up. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Carolyn, what'd you think?
I thought it was great. I live for the one-liners and I live for the pop culture references. And there were so many fantastic ones. I think that character development was really fun to see like where everyone was after the finale of the regular show, and I'm glad everyone came back. I think I read that they just continued filming from when the series finished, so this movie has been done for quite some time. I was kind of hoping there would be a Tina Fey cameo, but whatever. It didn't happen, at least in my version.
Well, there were plenty of other cameos that we'll mention later on. Candace, what were your overall thoughts?
First of all, I'm a huge Harry Potter fanatic, so the fact that Daniel Radcliffe is in this makes me so happy. But I loved it. I know our last season with Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, we were all kind of like happy about it, but it wasn't our original OG first season and second season that we really wanted. And I felt like the old characters we loved and adored were back full force. And I'm really excited to see how many more shows, with the way that the climate of the world is, are going to take note from how to make things more interactive, because we're all constantly consuming stuff on a screen. So to be able to like pick my own option and then go back to the beginning and do it again and see something completely new, I think is ingenious. So yeah, I loved it.
So what Candace is referencing, for those who have not watched, is that unlike other movies that are on Netflix, what happened with this show is that they gave us the option to have different endings throughout the movie. So what I'll be referencing is like the overall outline of things. And then I would love to hear what you guys selected, because I think each of us had maybe a different outcome. So, but we'll first start with like, why were we having a movie? Well, our girl Kimmy is a successful author, and she's also engaged to, as you referenced, Daniel Radcliffe from the Harry Potter series. So now, ladies, are all of you Harry Potter fans? Because like, I know people are like, I'm a Hufflepuff, I'm a this, I'm a that. Like, do you know
I'm a Ravenclaw. And I have 3 wands at home, so.
You see.
So one of us is definitely a huge Harry Potter fan.
I know, I love it.
Candace is enough Harry Potter fan for all of us.
I agree.
Yeah, he was my first crush when I was a kid.
You're kidding.
Totally agree.
No,
totally.
I loved Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh, I think I liked Ron more than Harry. Ron was just so whatever, we're digressing.
Okay, well, Daniel is Prince Frederick,
Yes.
Kimmy's fiance, who he basically kind of hit her up because he was a fan of her book. So he became, it was like as if he slid into her DMs and now suddenly they're engaged. But I was so happy to see our girl happy and in love. And at the beginning of the show, of the movie, I keep saying series, she finds a book in her trusty JanSport Jan. Were you guys happy to see that Jan was back?
Oh yeah.
I have mixed emotions on Jan. I think that it's so bizarre to see a talking backpack, but you know what? No hate towards anyone, just love. So Jan, I like her energy. A little weird, but everyone is quirky in their own way.
You know what I love so much about Jan, though, is that it feels like she's the only one that can talk to Jan, Kimmy, and then magically her fiance can also talk to Jan. So I'm like, you found your perfect companion in life if you can talk to a backpack together.
Definitely. And we saw that Jan was not just a backpack. She was also going to be a bridesmaid in the wedding who was worried about having to wear a shawl because of her weight gain, which I thought was hilarious. No one wants to be the girl with the shawl.
No. But Caroline, my question to you then, if you're having a little, mixed emotions about Jan, so you're mixed emotions about Jan, but you're okay with robots?
No, certainly not. I've never not once understood the robots. I think it adds to the flair of the show, though, and the pizzazz and just the absolute next level of debauchery that I truly love, because it's nothing I could imagine for in my own life, but I'm so happy that somebody created it and Tina put it in a show. So yeah, no, not a huge robot girl either.
Same.
But, they might rule the world one day.
Well, speaking of robots, Yuko, one of our friendly robots that we grew to love, opened up the show giving you the instructions on how to watch the movie. So basically in certain scenes, you'll get 2 options and you have 14 seconds, up to 2 to 4 options, and you have 14 seconds to select which one. So, they still put those robots to work during the episode.
Also, for me, I originally started watching it on my TV and apparently it wasn't compatible. So my opening was different. And then I had to switch to my laptop because my original opening was like, sorry, you can't watch it here. You have to find another device, but this is what you get to watch. And I was like,
interesting.
Okay.
That is
so interesting.
Yeah.
Well, so that's good to keep in mind, because that's another important thing, that this is a movie that you'll have to watch more than once in order to find all the Easter eggs, get different jokes that you may not have seen, and like I said, see a totally different ending. But speaking of the beginning, I forgot to mention that, and Candace, I'm not sure if you got to see this, but did you get to see the extended opening with the new song?
Because I wanted to skip the opening. And he said, you trying to skip my opening. This is not right. He said, I'm still going to give you extended version. So I didn't see the first half. I only saw the second half.
Got it. So the Kimmy Schmidt theme song that we've grown to love, we actually got a remix from the gentleman that was in the original, and it was like an extended version. So if you select that option, you get to hear that new song as well, which was great.
I don't think you have an option not to.
What'd you say?
I like that we were able to see the gentleman one more time.
Yes. He definitely played a bigger role, which was great to see.
Full circle.
Yes. So Jan, aka JanSport, like I said, felt a little heavy. She felt like she'd gained weight, but it was because Kimmy found a book in her backpack that she had never seen before, which led her to think, where did this book come from and who owned this book? She goes home, she speaks to her husband, Prince Frederick, and he's like, well, wait a minute, you can either read the book or you can help me plan for the wedding.
Oh, there was a third option.
And it was make out.
Yeah.
So, Carolyn, what option did you choose?
I chose wedding planning.
Laura, what'd you choose?
I chose read a book.
And
So you're smart.
Candace?
I chose make out first, and then
Ew.
it ended. I just wanted to see. So then the whole movie ended. They're like, let's rewind, let's start over. Because they basically jumped ahead, and that's a whole nother alternative. And it's like a full stop. But then they rewound, and then I chose wedding planning.
Got it. Yeah, I chose read the book because I wanted to see what was in the book.
You two are smart.
Yeah. And so that led Kimmy to sit down. In my option, she sat down, she read the book while her husband, he did some of the wedding planning, didn't he? He was sitting across from her doing something else while she read the book. And he was so impressed that she read the book all in one day.
Oh.
Then we also saw a great scene where Kimmy she's doing her say yes to the dress moment, where she's trying on dresses with the old gang. We see Titus, we see Jacqueline, and we see Lillian there. What did you think to see everyone all together in that moment? I'll throw it to you. Laura, what do you think about?
Sorry.
That's okay.
I loved it. So obviously I love the old characters back together. Titus's one-liners are always hilarious. Jacqueline is still one of my favorite characters in the entire show. I will say I started to feel a little anxiety, like immediately when there was more than 2 options to pick. I was like, I don't have enough time. I don't know how to make this decision. 14 seconds is not enough. I don't know how to do so I was really good with just like 2 options. I could do those really quickly, but if it was 2 or more, more than 2, I was in trouble.
Who chose the fun dress?
I did not. I chose the fancy dress.
Yeah, I chose the fancy dress too.
Was it beautiful?
It was nice.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it. And something that I also want to bring up is that during the entire movie, we see them trying to hide the fact that Ellie Kemper is pregnant.
Wait, what?
I did notice that.
I did not notice that.
Yes, she has a baby bump in the entire film. And so the dress that I chose at the end definitely camouflaged it. And I saw an interview with her on Ellen, and she now has 2 little boys.
She had twins?
No, like she had one before.
No.
Okay, I was like, whoa.
Like, that's quite a bump to try to hide.
Right? Yes, definitely. So during this wedding dress scene, we see that Lillian is still the same Lillian. Jacqueline is still managing Titus, who has become a bigger movie star. Mm-hmm. And he currently has an action movie that he's actually trying to avoid because he doesn't want to work out. So
I feel that on so many levels. I don't know about you guys and like the internet people too, but I detest working out with a passion. It is something I am passionate about not liking. And
Laura, and you need to talk.
Yeah, I'm so not into it. So when Titus was like, I just want to eat cake, I felt that, but for me it's ice cream. So
well, the quarantine diet right now, it's been extended till August. The quarantine 15 is real.
But we don't have to worry about beach bodies anymore.
Right. So you know what, Carolyn, do what you need to do to just make it through this difficult time.
So hi.
Yeah.
I want to just clarify, just so you know, it's Caroline.
Caroline, my apologies. It's been a while.
No, don't worry. Don't worry.
So
I just wanted to clarify.
That's okay. Thank you for clarifying. So Titus is supposed to be following this Mark Wahlberg's workout, but he is failing at it. Did any of you see the scene with him in the gym?
Me.
I did.
So Titus, he proceeds to do, I don't know what kind of working out he was doing. But he, at the end, he says, one of the funniest, what I consider a Kimmy quote. Remember our old segment, Kimmy quote?
Yes.
He says, how does Beyonce do it? And the fact that he, again, is comparing himself to Beyonce, I was like, Titus, welcome back.
Yes.
I actually chose the alternate option. I chose go home because obviously, like Titus, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And so they had you wake him up or continue to let him sleep as the next options. And it was nice. That was the little glimpse of Mikey that we got to see. There was a nice little picture frame of him and Titus on their like on an end table. But Titus is, you know, just chilling, looked like his digs were nice. So he's definitely moved up in the world.
Did you guys not see Mikey at all the rest of the whole movie?
So
Because I saw him once.
Yeah, I saw Mikey at the end. So Titus and Mikey are still married, but I didn't see him because I selected a different option. So I saw him at the end of the film.
I saw him at an abrupt stop because I picked the wrong option.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did too.
Yeah.
Okay. So like we were saying, there's all these different alternates. So you guys will get some.
All kinds of options.
Exactly. There you go.
One of the cameos I wanted to bring up. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of the cameos I wanted to bring up during that scene was a model named Charlotte McKinney. They said that she had a quick cameo in that gym sleep scene, but I totally missed it because I selected something else. So just keep.
I did not see Charlotte because I picked the other option, but
I didn't for Jim either.
Yeah, no, it says she was in like the sleep option when if you chose to make him go to sleep and skip the gym, she was supposedly in there. So
she wasn't in it though. I think actually she might have been in it if you chose one of the sleep options that I didn't choose. I don't know. This is why this show is so crazy, or this movie is so crazy. It's like all of us chose different things, and yet we still didn't see this one cameo from a model.
Right.
Yes. So, after Kimmy does her say yes to the dress moment where you get to choose whether she wears a fancy dress or a fun dress, then she decides she has to figure out what she's going to do next about this whole book situation and who she's going to call to determine what her next steps would be. I selected that she at first called Doña
Maria.
Doña Maria.
Oh,
Who did you guys want her to call? Because the Cyndee or her other girlfriend Gretchen. Yes. So I chose Doña. Candace, you chose Cyndee. Laura, who'd you choose?
I chose Gretchen, and it was incredible.
What happened? Please tell me what happened.
So I picked Gretchen first, and Gretchen answers the phone, and she's like, you can tell she's like in the middle of something, and she's like, oh, hey, Kimmy, okay, I'm gonna have to call you back because I'm in the middle of something. Talk to you later, bye. Literally pulls on like a Hillary Clinton mask and like an AK-47 and is like robbing a bank.
Good old Gretchen. Caroline, what option did you choose?
I did Cyndee, and Cyndee just seemed like a realistic option. Like they seem to have the most connection, and I knew that Doña Maria wasn't going to give me what was most likely the linear path. So, Cyndee was fun. Candace, did you like her?
I liked her. And I mean, she obviously I'm interested to hear what happens for you guys after you chose one of the three, because she did play a pretty big part in like the Lillian situation with Frederick as well.
Yes, she did.
We'll get to that point. But I liked Cyndee. She's sweet. I think she's just fun and yes.
Definitely.
Wait, Laura, after Gretchen hung up, did you choose Cyndee?
So then I chose Doña Maria, and then she gave her all kinds of like reasons why. You say hi? You chose Doña Maria too.
Yes, I did, because I thought she was going to give her good sound advice, which she did. Miss Doña Maria is a mole sauce mogul now and a businesswoman. So she told Kimmy like, hey, you're having PTSD, just drop this, focus on your wedding. I'll see you there. So like everyone was coming back for this special event.
Mm-hmm.
So then Kimmy decided, and remind me if I'm skipping anything, but my next thing is that Kimmy decides that she has to visit the Reverend, and everyone's like, no, you should not be leaving. You need to focus on your wedding. And Lillian says, hey, I was going to throw you a bachelorette party. Prince Frederick is like, well, I have no friends. So, and only my nanny is coming for me. So, this bachelorette situation.
Yes.
So Kimmy heads out of town, and there's a choice. Who should she take with her? Should she take Jacqueline or should she take Titus? I chose Titus, of course. Who did you choose, Candace?
Titus.
Laura?
Jacqueline.
Interesting. And Caroline, who'd you choose?
I chose Jacqueline and then ultimately had to choose Titus.
Okay.
So that's one of the other things. Sometimes if you made the wrong option, it still allowed you to see the alternate option in order to keep the story going. What happened when choosing Jacqueline?
So, so she takes Jacqueline and they go get on a plane, which Buckley is subsequently flying because he wanted to get to USC, and Jacqueline was taking pictures of him as a quote unquote pilot so he could get into USC. A nod to the admission scandal, which I thought was genius. And then
also a nod to Lori Loughlin's daughter, Olivia. Her photos came out because of the deposition, which is just of her on a rowing, like an erg.
Yep. So the comment that Jacqueline makes is, I don't want to have to stick you on a rower and take fake pictures or something like that. So it was pretty pointed. It was pretty amazing. But then they ultimately end up crashing and you have to pick up Titus.
That's brilliant.
Well, Titus and Kimmy, decide to go on this adventure, and their first stop is the prison in which the Reverend is at, who has a new name, by the way. He goes by, wait, what I wrote it down. It was, I can't find it in my notes, but it was
it's in Spanish.
It was a Spanish.
Away, white,
pedophile.
Thank you very much.
Vete pedofilio blanco was his new name in jail. This is the Reverend's nickname in jail. Another cameo we see during this jail scene is our guy who played Kenneth in 30 Rock, Jack McBrayer. And his name in the movie is Sandy Parcell, but in 30 Rock, his name was Kenneth Parcell. So you can see the Tina Fey connection, throughout this film as well. So Kimmy heads to the jail to see the Reverend. Now, guys, I have to admit, I know the Reverend is a bad guy, and I may have said this before, but he still has like a special place in my heart. I just love Jon Hamm so much.
I love Jon Hamm, not a fan of the Reverend.
Same.
Yep.
Like it's hard to look at the actor Jon Hamm and be like, oh, he sucks because he's so dreamy. But the Reverend is just, they kept making a joke of like, oh, the worst thing that he did was cheat and Clue, but he did a lot worse.
But what I do love about what Kimmy Schmidt, the show and the movie have been able to do is, Jon Hamm made his career off of Mad Men and being Don Draper, and the Reverend could not be more different than Don Draper.
Right.
That's what I can appreciate about not only Jon Hamm, but also this character, because it's just, they're just so drastically different, and he kills them both.
And he does a great job being the villain that you hate, but also you kind of feel for, only in moments, not always, but you're kind of like, oh, okay. Like you can still love to hate him.
Definitely. I think there's the common theme between Jon Hamm in Mad Men and Jon Hamm playing the Reverend is that he loves the ladies. Both characters definitely love the ladies. So during this visit, when Kimmy's at the prison, he lets it slip that the second bunker is in West Virginia, which leads Kimmy to head over to West Virginia with Titus. Now, there was an option. I read that there was an alternate option with the Reverend too, like how he escaped, because he ends up escaping later on from jail. But I didn't know that until I read it. So we'll talk about that. But Kimmy heads over to West Virginia with Titus, who is growing more and more hungry because he has not eaten all day. They get to West Virginia in style, by the way, on this private jet. Does she own it or does her husband own it?
I think they both own it.
She owns it.
She owns it?
I think she owns it.
Yes,
it's
girl.
She says my private jet. The girl she's honestly like J.K. Rowling status. She's very affluent now.
Yes, she is balling. So Kimmy gets to West Virginia in her private jet, and they have to walk because there's nothing out there. And Titus decides he's going to call an Uber. which is going to take 4,000 minutes. And Kimmy's like, no, let's walk. So then you again have the option to choose whether they take the Uber or whether they walk. I chose walk. Caroline, what'd you choose?
Yeah. Walk.
Candace? So we all chose walk. Okay. So apparently there is a whole different ending with the Uber driver being a part of it. Yes. Yes. If you selected Uber driver, something else happens, but it ends up leading you back to forcing them back to have to walk.
Oh, okay.
I think actually I know what happens. So I was watching the trailer for the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt movie, and at one point they show them shriveled up as dead bodies. And I think that might be what happens if you take the Uber route.
Yeah.
Yes, something like that. I vaguely remember reading something of that nature happening. So they end up walking, and they finally, after they approach this guy who has like a fake Coachella type thing going on, like this random guy, and they end up getting bicycles from him. And then, well, actually first, before that, they go to the bar, right? I think the bar happened first.
Mm-hmm.
They went to the bar, they buck up on a bar in West Virginia.
Oh, West Virginia.
Yeah. And they're trying to get information from the local folks, as Kimmy calls them. And they decide, and Titus decides, okay, the way he's going to communicate is through song and sing a Leonard Skinner song, Freebird. Now, you got the option to decide whether you think Titus really knew the words or he did not. Laura, did you think Titus knew the words to that song?
I picked that he did. I mean, I would not be surprised if Titus knew the new Freebird. I mean, Titus is always surprising us, truly. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I picked that he crushed Freebird, and he did.
Did anybody pick
I just wanted to note that the guy who was the random like hippie was Chris Parnell from SNL. I don't know if anyone caught that, but
yes. His name is Junior in the show. I forgot the name of his little event that no one showed up to, that Titus ended up taking drugs at. But prior
the bath salts. He was all on bath salts.
All the bath salts.
Yes. So
I think it was probably like an homage to some music festival, that a pop culture reference.
Definitely. But before we delve into that scene, I want to just finish up with the bar, because Titus ended up singing this song Freebird and killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was so impressed, and the audience, like the people in the bar, loved it, and that's where they end up getting some more information, which helped Kimmy and Titus along the way. Mm-hmm. After which then led them to this fake music festival with Junior, aka Chris Parnell from SNL, as you said, Karen.
It was definitely a nod to Fire Festival, and then I think it was, what's the one in Chicago? Bonnaroo.
Okay.
Bonnaroo, yeah.
Bonnaroo. I think it's a mix between the two. You could throw in Coachella as well, but I think it's more Bonnaroo.
Oh, this was 100% more Bonnaroo than Coachella.
Yeah,
I'll just
absolutely.
go ahead and throw that out there.
It was called Festeroo.
There you go. See? Fire Festival, Bonnaroo.
I think that it's really funny you all chose that he knew the song, because I chose that he didn't know the song. And what happens when you don't know the song and you're in a bar with a bunch of locals is you get killed.
You get killed?
Yeah. It's really,
they didn't
really
just kick
dark.
him out. Wow.
No, it gets really violent, and then you hear a gunshot, and then it's like, you have to go back. And it was just like incredibly aggressive. And then I heard Titus sing the proper song, because he comes up with his own song.
Yeah, love that.
He died?
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of death going on if you chose the wrong options, and that's really a dark spin on
not just like death, but like this movie was more graphic than I think I was used to of like Kimmy Schmidt show in the past. Like there were moments where I was like, are we doing this? Are we really doing? Okay, we're doing this. We're going for it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Definitely. So once they hit up Festeroo and meet Junior, Titus, who is still hungry, Junior gives them bicycles. And Titus finds something in the bicycle that he thinks is regular mushrooms or food, and it turns out to be like a hallucinogenic drug, and therefore, which leads him to you have the choice to choose whether or not he sees food in one option or something else. I forgot, but I felt so bad for him. I just wanted him to eat, so I just had him eat.
I don't think I got that one.
I think you know what it is? It's later on when they see the Reverend that you get the choice. But prior to them, you being able to choose, he does start hallucinating and sees a table full of food, which is actually like dirt and like shrubs and leaves and things like that. Then while this is going on, while Kimmy and Titus are in West Virginia, stuff's still happening in New York with the rest of the gang. So Titus was supposed to be on this movie set, and Jacqueline has to stall to avoid them knowing that he's not there. Can we talk about the situation on set? It was a whole mess. What did you guys think? Laura, I see you shaking your head. What did you think of this whole scene?
Well, this is one of those where I was a little bit like, is this really happening? Are we really doing this? Okay, great. And it was when, so I thought, first of all, I thought Jacqueline was being very creative and trying to divert everybody from Titus's trailer. But I just, when we got to the point, so I guess you had the option of if Titus was upset over the wardrobe or the script. I chose wardrobe.
I chose script.
Okay.
I chose wardrobe too.
So the ending that I got was that there was a girl that was coming to try to get him to put on his pants finally. And that one thing leads to another where she ends up kind of spilling, her name's Jenny, and she spills all of her information about how her husband Julian left her, and her son Buckley was turning into has a gaming sickness, and it's from wearing the headphones too long while using his gaming device. Basically, it was a mirror of like Jacqueline's life, and Jacqueline felt like she was looking in a mirror. And then all of a sudden, Jacqueline kind of admits that she has sort of made up the whole thing, that Titus is not here, that she's been covering. And then I saw, they said, wait, so you lied? And like, this is everybody on the crew. You lied to us, but Hollywood has told us that we have to believe women all the time, forever and ever. And then they're like, if we don't have to believe women anymore, and then all of a sudden, like the dudes are like ripping their pants off and like grabbing the ladies, and they were like, time's up is up. And I was like, is this happening? Like,
oh my.
Yes. So
basically
that was
my face. I was like, is this a thing? We're actually doing this? And I guess I loved it that they were kind of like poking fun at it, but part of it was just, the level of aggression at which like these men, like one guy comes out like of his trailer and just like immediately flashes everybody like a Harvey Weinstein, I guess. And it was just one of those things where it was like, wow, okay, they went for it. They went all the way there. They thought about no lines left behind and just crossed them all.
Definitely, yes. So Jacqueline gets blamed on this movie set for basically destroying the entire Time's Up movement and the Me Too movement, and debauchery ensues with the men basically acting a straight fool and grabbing all the women and also taking off their own pants, which was just crazy. So that I didn't see Jacqueline again until the wedding at the end. So that was the majority of her storyline from the decisions that I chose. One of the cameos during that scene was Zach Orth, who played the writer. I currently have been watching him on the CBS show Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
So, oh yeah.
Yeah, so he's been in that. So I was like, oh, look at that.
Or it's NBC.
NBC, yes, thank you. I watch it on Hulu, so I'm like, what am I watching? So then that's Jacqueline's storyline pretty much. And then Lillian, so she's in New York. She and Cyndee decide to throw Frederick this
Bachelor party.
Thank you.
Yes. Also, wait, I got a different alternative because she spoke with the writer. So my ending was completely different with Lily or with Jacqueline.
Interesting. So what happened?
So she ends up sitting there talking to this writer, and he goes through every bit of the script, like every single detail. And then there's another option for her of like, does she blow up and freak out? Which I think led it to your all's option, but I took like go to your happy place. So she like does this full on singing dance thing. And then she's talking to the writer more and then ends up like making this big speech, but she's saved at the last minute because Titus comes in and is in West Virginia where he's chasing Kimmy is actually where they're doing the pickup for the movie. And then he comes on, they put him in wardrobe, they do a big explosion. And then he's like, and now I have to go back to Kimmy.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
a
exactly,
whole nother diversion.
I got there differently, but that was also how mine ended. And the best part was that all Titus needed to do was be there for one scene where there was an explosion.
Yep.
And then they said, oh, the rest is in CGI, so we don't need you. Which I'm like, isn't that the explosion what you would CGI? What else is he going to be doing?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And they're like, wow, Titus, you are an action star. Like, yeah, okay, gotta get back to the forest.
Yeah, they didn't know that there was going to be an explosion. So they're like, okay, 3, 2, 1, action. He doesn't know. So he legitimately normally freaks out like you would if there's an explosion. They're like, that was it. Good job. Fabulous work.
Funny. Well, thank you, ladies, for sharing that alternate ending. So then we see Lillian and Cyndee at the bachelor. I don't know if I should call it a bachelorette party because it was meant for Kimmy and all the fixins like the sash and everything. They ended up using everything that they were going to use for Kimmy for Frederick. So it's like, I'm like,
can you call it a bachelorette party though when there's like literally 5 people in that like weird bar?
That's okay. Sure. That's fine. You know, people attended. So yeah, we'll still call it that. So during this time,
fun, but you can call it a bachelorette party.
Agree.
True.
So in true Lillian fashion, you know, she's always there to protect Kimmy, and she wants to make sure Frederick is an upstanding guy. So she and Cyndee decide to lure him through song during karaoke to see if he's going to be seduced by either one of them. So I chose Lillian.
Same.
First. Okay.
Me too.
Lillian. Who'd you pick? Cyndee?
I picked Cyndee.
So Laura.
Oh my gosh, what happened with Cyndee?
Wait, so Laura, I read that Cyndee and her teach me how to I ended up seeing the teach me how to Dougie scene. Died. Yes.
It's too funny. It's too funny. I mean, and she's, you know, kudos to the actress that plays Cyndee, because and if somebody has her name, like, please, let's throw it out there, because
I'll pull it up while you guys keep talking.
Perfect, because she had me in like way more than the show.
Yes.
The movie,
yeah, she's great.
She had me in stitches, and I was like, holy mackerel. She's like, she again was just totally like going for every moment. And this was definitely one of them. So she was, when she gets picked, Lillian, actually, when I picked Cyndee, Lillian's like, you should do it. And they were like, everybody wants to bang the best friend or whatever. And she goes, oh, you think I'm your best friend? It's the cutest thing ever.
Her name is Sara Chase.
Yes.
Sara Chase. Snaps for Sara Chase, because she was, I mean, I feel like she, in the movie in particular, she went for it. And she sings karaoke's Teach Me How to Dougie, but she's like, I just got to give it a lot of tongue, like Britney. And so she's all like, bah, the whole time.
I watched it, and she was doing the most, but I loved every minute of it because we saw a whole new side of Cyndee that we had not seen. Like, she was dancing and booty popping and grinding.
Wow. You know, though, like, the bunker made her this like way that she's just craving to let out her energy. And honestly, all she wanted from the bachelorette party was to go out. So she was so relieved when it was still happening, even if it was for Frederick.
do. She kept on saying, I'm so happy that I have something to do now. So Lillian, in the Lillian version, Lillian ends up, but by the way, back to Cyndee, he ends up not being lured by Cyndee. And then Lillian, in the Lillian version that I selected, he does end up being seduced by her and feeling very guilty for it. And Lillian is very upset. She's like, I knew it. You know, he's a very bad boy. So, which I thought, of course, Lillian, you know, don't sleep on Lillian. We think, you know, she's the OG, but she's still got it. So moving on, Lillian then also determines that she's going to, when she hears that Frederick is very inexperienced and actually Kimmy is more experienced than he is, one of which we find that her previous beau is Mr. Josh Groban, who plays himself. But with yes, did you guys, there's a scene where they're talking about Kimmy's ex, they flash back to Kimmy's exes, and Kimmy dated Josh Groban.
No, I never saw that.
Yes.
You got that option if you chose to call Donna Maria.
That's what it was. So yes. So Lillian just...
Yeah, she...
For some reason, I thought that she dated him in the show, like in the regular show.
No, I don't remember her dating him in the regular
show. Like she had like a really brief cameo or something. I don't know. It's funny. I'd like to go back and watch the show start to finish and then the movie if I could, just to see who is referenced again in the movie.
You've got time, girl.
I was gonna say #quarter.
So we have a couple more minutes left. So wrapping up a little bit, Lillian decides to book a hotel room, take Frederick there, and teach him the ropes. And we're led to believe that she was gonna sex him up, but actually,
I did not get any of that.
No,
I didn't get any of that.
So good.
Oh, it's so good.
He picked, I had him pick the nanny, and then the nanny took him to a hotel room and just sat him down and talked to him very calmly.
And the nanny was
and had a Mary Poppins like ode to Mary Poppins type of thing, and that was it.
I love it. But the speaking of the nanny, she was also played by Carol Kane, who plays Lillian. So in the version that I watched, she ends up taking him to this room, playing these different characters to teach him how to handle different scenarios with different types of women, all of which seem to be mentally unstable in some way. And after going through this crash course of dating, he comes through and she feels like, okay, now he's good enough to be with our dear Kimmy.
Oh, if there's one scene you have to watch, I would say that is definitely a highlight. It's a highlight for sure.
I'll have to go back, because for him, when he spoke to the nanny, he comes back to Lillian and is like, I saw everything that I was sheltered from, and I don't know why anyone would ever want to do it. And I realized the only good thing in my life is Kimmy, and that I have to be with her. So I was like, oh, okay, that's sweet.
Love that. Love that. So fast forwarding back to Kimmy and Titus in the woods of West Virginia, they see that the Reverend has escaped from jail, and you get to choose how that happens. I chose karate. Ladies, did you choose something different?
No, I picked karate.
I chose a sneaky escape.
A sneaky escape, okay. And Kimmy and the Reverend end up having an epic showdown in the woods, while Titus, at this point, you got to choose whether or not he gets to eat again. And I chose him to eat, and he's eating dirt and greens from the ground again. Yes. But what I want to end with is this showdown between Kimmy and the Reverend, because here we got 4 options, whether or not she was going and how she was going to.
There are too many options.
Yeah, there was too many options to proceed with this. And the option, she got to stomp on him, shoot him, and spare him. And there was one more where she suddenly shows up with this like big
smash
him or something like that, where she ends up with this this big like weapon to like really like obliterate him.
I spared him, but like she still shot the gun, and I was like, whoa, Kimmy.
Hardcore. The movie is hardcore.
Also, did you all see a baby in the show at all?
Yes, when we saw They stopped at, I failed to mention that, they stop at this convenience store and where Johnny Knoxville makes a cameo, and there's a baby there where you have to determine, do they continue to travel and find the girls, or do they stay with the baby? I chose that they stay with the baby.
I chose they left the baby. That's why I saw Mikey, because he was like, hold on, this is
Correct.
not Kimmy. Like, let's send you back. And then because I didn't have her read the book at the very beginning, she had to go back and read the book again with the baby, because they ended up, the Reverend escaped because she didn't read the book. So she had to go back and read the book with the baby.
Got it.
Interesting.
I know.
If you choose the option to spare the up, shooting the gun in the air, and walks over to this tree because she wants to make him a splint because he breaks his foot.
Mm-hmm.
And
which is so Kimmy, by the way, like going out of her way to do something so kind for somebody who locked her away in a bunker. I would be like, see ya, you can walk and no splint. Like, obviously I wouldn't kill him, but the fact she's going out of her way to give him a splint.
Very sweet of her. Yeah. So this actually helps her find the secret entryway into the bunker, and she opens it up, extends her hand, and pulls one of the women out, just like she was pulled out many years ago.
And that shot was so cool because it's literally identical shot.
Definitely.
But it's her pulling it. Yeah, I loved that.
It was a full circle moment for our girl Kimmy. We then go to see her wedding, and like I said, I chose the fancy dress. So we saw Mikey there. We saw this is where I saw Fred Armisen for the first time as a wedding guest. We see Jacqueline there, who is now a pariah of town for messing up the Times Up and Me Too movement. We see Titus there, and everyone's there, and Kimmy has her happy ending.
I chose the fun dress, and her train has balloons on it. So it's this big pink tulle mess, and it's like high, and then they've got her like veil that's got balloons following behind her, and then they go up and they have this whole speech of like equal partners, and then they have this big kiss. Aww. And then at the end they're like, Breakfast Club, and they just hold it for like a good 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes, I'm exaggerating, but like a good few minutes. And they're just holding it and not blinking, not moving, but they're still there. I thought it was a frozen shot. And then everybody from the wedding just starts trying to scooch around them, like weasel their way out of the wedding. And then it's like, go to the beginning again. So I clicked it and it took me all the way to the beginning again.
Yes, my ending was just as sweet as the bouquet of candy that Kimmy had. And she had
hi, you were waiting to use that one, girl. You were waiting to use that. Sweet as candy.
Yes, so our girl got a happy ending either way. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this recap of the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Kimmy versus the Reverend movie. Caroline, where can they find you if they'd like to see more of you?
Well, if you would like to see me, you can follow me at Caroline J. Fair on Twitter. Please do. I love tweeting to you guys and doing polls. And last but not least, just please stay safe and stay home.
Laura, out there, where can they find you?
I mean, mostly at home, but if you'd like to see more of what we do here in Nashville, I'm going to chronicle it all on my Instagram and Twitter. You can find me at Laura Thomasson, ThomasSonn.
Candace, where could they find you?
Again, at home, just like Laura, but you can find me on all my social media at Candace R. Cruz.
And ladies, it was so good to be here with you again. Yeah. Guys, please let us know your thoughts of the movie, what endings you chose in the comments. We can't wait to see you again on our respective shows. You can find me at Say Hi Sahai, and thank you guys so much. Bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out